Advanced Soteriology, Lecture 21, Part 2 here on page 2. About Mariolatry now. Pope John Paul II states that Mary is the path that leads to Christ. Make room for Mary in your daily lives, acknowledging her providential role in the path of salvation. This is the doctrine of Mary as co-redemptrix. In the glories of Mary, it states, the Eternal Father, besides giving us Jesus Christ, our principal advocate with Him, was pleased also to give us Mary as our advocate with Jesus Christ. Oh. He has placed the whole price of redemption in the hands of Mary, that she may dispense it at will. The way of salvation is open to none otherwise than through Mary. No one is saved but through thee. Whoever asks and expects to obtain graces without the intercession of Mary endeavors to fly without wings. All graces are dispensed by Mary, and all who are saved only by the means of this divine mother.
Blasphemy.
Oh yeah. But just think Catholics, if they're pummeled with this over and over and over again from day one of understanding. And they don't look at their Bibles much. And they're taught that the Protestants and Evangelicals, all those folks out there, is misguided. In the Church of the Mother of God of Polish Martyrs, Mary is depicted as hanging on the cross holding the child Jesus. Outside of the main Mary Basilica in Rome, Santa Maria Maggiore, there's a large crucifix with Jesus hanging on one side and a crowned Mary hanging on the other. Because she suffered too.
She did?
Well, not on the cross, but she suffered as her son was suffering. That's how they look at it. So she was suffering too. The Blessed Virgin can do whatever she pleases, both in heaven and on earth. At the command of Mary, all obey, even God. Why? God grants the prayers of Mary as if they were commands. Yes, Mary is omnipotent. For the queen by every law enjoys the same privileges as the king. Lies from the Satan. Not the pit of hell, it's Satan where they come from. God created hell, and it doesn't come from there. Pope John Paul II, quoting whatever, says, in fact, by being assumed into heaven, she has not laid aside the office of salvation, but by the manifold intercession, she continues to obtain for us the grace of eternal salvation. Pius IX said, for God has committed to Mary the treasury of all good things, in order that everyone may know that through her are obtained every hope, every grace, and all salvation. For this is His will, that we obtain everything through Mary. And this Mary, let's be honest, they say it's the Mary, in reality they say it's the Mary that's Jesus' birth, Jesus up in heaven. But really who they're dealing with is a devil or devils who are just keeping this thing going. Mary allegedly appeared to 3 children at Fatima, north of Lisbon, Portugal, in 1917, identifying herself as Our Lady of the Rosary, and giving the following promises to those who will faithfully recite the Rosary. I only put those that were pertinent to soteriology here, of the, I think, 15. The soul which recommends itself to me by the recitation of the Rosary shall not perish. As you drive by on our little hill here, all Jew wood stove place on the side of the building, real big, it says, pray, 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 the Rosary. Something about Mary.
Yeah.
We can see, maybe why, number 8, those who are faithful in reciting the Rosary shall have during their life and at their death the light of God and the plenitude of His graces. At the moment of death they shall participate in the merits of the saints in paradise, if you faithfully recite it. Number 9, I shall deliver from purgatory those who have been devoted to the Rosary. And 14, all who recite the Rosary are my sons and brothers of my only Son, Jesus Christ. What is the Rosary, brother? I mean, how would you explain that thing? What are you doing with this? So someone may not have a clue.
Okay, it's kind of a circular necklace of beads, and then one strand comes down and there's a crucifix on the end, and the beads are they go like 9, and then the 10th one's a different color or a different size, and then 9, the 10th one's a different color, different size. You're supposed to say like 9 Our Fathers and 1 Hail Mary, and then there's like hundreds of beads on a full-size rosary, and Catholics will walk around and you just see them like holding the beads, walking around praying like this, going from one bead to the next.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to give you grace with Mary.
Vain repetitions, huh?
Yes,
and
exactly.
if you study it like we have before, this rosary thing is a pagan thing they've done way before Catholics got started. Okay, well, confirmation perfects baptismal grace. Did you know that? It is a sacrament which gives the Holy Spirit in order to root us more deeply in the divine filiation, incorporate us more firmly into Christ, strengthen our bond with the Church. Have you been confirmed? You went through confirmation?
Yes.
Okay. You were baptized as an infant? Or at some age?
I would assume so, yes.
Okay, I don't remember. Okay, but you went through the confirmation and catechism class. Cataclysm.
Yeah.
Okay. If a Christian is in danger of death, any priest should give him confirmation. Indeed, the Church desires that none of her children, even the youngest, should depart this world without having been perfected by the Holy Spirit with the gift of Christ's fullness. Christ also willed that the work of salvation which they preached should be set in train through the sacrifice and sacraments, around which the entire liturgical, ritualistic life revolves. Thus, by baptism, men are grafted into the paschal mystery of Christ and receive the spirit of adoption as sons. The New Catholic Catechism dogmatically declares, the Church does not know of any means other than baptism that assures entry into eternal beatitude. This is why she takes care not to neglect the mission she has received from the Lord, to see that all who can be baptized are reborn of water and the Spirit. God has bound salvation to the sacrament of baptism. So when they talk about graces, you see, it's not just it's a good thing to be baptized. We get kind of grace out of that. It's part of the salvation issue. For Catholics, salvation includes purgatory. Someone read what it says.
All who die in God's grace and friendship, but still imperfectly purified, are indeed assured of their eternal salvation, but after death they undergo purification so as to achieve the holiness necessary to enter the joy of heaven.
Oh, how ingenious. Well, there's not a lick of anything about purgatory in the Bible. It's one verse they use, but it can easily be disproved. It comes from the Apocrypha or the Pseudepigrapha. And just in the minds of men. Some interesting things as I close. The Holy Family Catholic Church in the northwest suburbs of Chicago has reinvented itself into a more evangelical image. The Chicago Tribune here. And as a result, is competing successfully with the Willow Creek Community Church located in the same neighborhood. That thing is huge. That's the third and fourth largest church in the nation,
Yes.
or was. Advertising of itself as an evangelical church in the Roman Catholic tradition, Holy Family is Catholic in doctrine, but has adopted many evangelical trappings, such as a fairly simple building with no stained glass or statues of saints, contemporary praise music, no kneeling during the liturgy, an emphasis on evangelism, and home Bible studies. The Chicago Tribune observes that the church is carving the model for the future American Catholic Church. So I haven't been to one since a long time ago. And so who knows how it's being transformed. I know they're speaking in tongues in a lot of these, having healings. They've got the contemporary praise going on. They still wear some of the robes, at least the folks up front do. They do the community probably the same way, but they're changing a lot. Why? Why do you think they're doing that?
Attract more followers.
Yes, and they're losing them.
Tend to
Yeah.
get the traditional, the Protestants to come back.
Okay, yeah, and back to Mama. The Great War. At Indianapolis 90, David Cloud says, an ecumenical charismatic conference I attended with press credentials, Roman Catholics were taught how to door-to-door evangelize. They were even instructed in how to lead someone to Christ using a soul-winning plan that concluded with a prayer to Mary. They were being taught how to give evangelical-sounding answers to questions about their salvation. Ted Haggard, well, he since went down the wrong road, but senior pastor of New Life Church in Colorado and president, then at least, of the 30 million member NAE, said, New Life doesn't try to convert Catholics, and the church would never discourage its members from becoming Catholic or attending Catholic Mass. What? The evangelicals are becoming more Catholic, while the Catholics are becoming more evangelical. and they will doubtless eventually merge into one. And there you have the makings of the great horse.